And welcome to the show this morning. It's Thursday, 6:06 on your drive into work this morning. I know, but look, it's Thursday. We're almost there, right? Just one more day, and it's Friday. It's the weekend. So a lot of stuff to cover on the show this morning. Quite a few things going on. Big news, of course, in the financial world. Jack Bogle, founder of the massive Vanguard funds, of course. Vanguard, one of the largest financial firms in the world. Probably most of your 401k plans that you have probably have a Vanguard fund in it somewhere. Really kind of pioneered the whole low-cost indexing revolution that has really kind of changed Wall Street over the course of really the last couple of decades in particular. But Jack Bogle died yesterday at the age of 89. So obviously that's a kind of a big news to the financial world. But again, just a massive success this guy was about what he built and how he really changed the face of investing and saving money for everyone in America. So very, very important news there. Outside of that, on the rest of the world, we're continue to watch what's happening overseas and in Europe with regards to the Brexit issue. Theresa May did actually survive a no confidence vote yesterday. Which would have actually thrown the entire country back into a general election. So that could have been very, very disruptive had she not survived that no confidence vote. However, this does suggest, though, that the whole issue of Brexit is going to continue to linger on here over the course. There was a date of March the 29th that Brexit was supposed to happen. That looks like that will now be postponed by months as they still try to figure out exactly, kind of how to do this. Again, kind of really uncharted waters here because nobody knows what the impact is going to be to banking, to finance, to economics, to politics. It's really a much more important issue than really, we're so focused on kind of our own political headlines here. What's happening with Brexit is actually very important because it not only affects the breakup of Britain from the Eurozone, but it also potentially sets a precedent for the dissolution of the entire Eurozone as other countries look at Britain and say, well, it worked for them. If it works, it worked for them, it'll work for us, so we're going to do the same thing. So the economic, political, and financial disruption that could be caused by Brexit is really much more important than we're actually giving credence to in terms of our own kind of daily news and headlines. That's why we keep talking about it. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've also talked about Germany, where Germany is dealing with this immigration problem. Very much like we are here, of course. So we've got the government shut down currently in the U.S. because we're locked up over this idea of funding for a border wall. If you take a look at most of the polls, the majority of the polls suggest that most Americans support border security in some fashion or form. Not necessarily a border wall in particular, but border security, a control over immigration. Vast majorities, we're talking 60, 70, 80% of participants in these polls all support the idea of stronger border security measures because of the concerns over what happens with mass, uncontrolled immigration into the country and how it affects jobs, how it affects the economy, how it affects incomes, etc. Germany learned this very much the hard way. Germany, we talked about this, is that Germany has now been trying to come up with an idea to try to get the refugee population that they welcomed into their country. Remember, this all started under this whole nationalist, globalist view several years ago. Germany threw open their arms and said, hey, if you're a refugee from anywhere in the world, just come on in. We'd love to have you. And they were flooded with millions and millions of refugees. It has not worked out well for the country. Their violence rate has gone up. Their entire religious structure in their country has changed dramatically from primarily Christian. We talked about just the other day that in one generation, they're talking about their religious base being primarily Muslim. So Angela Merkel has now come out with a great idea. We will pay you 1 year's worth of expenses if you will leave the country. So not only have they figured out the fault of having uncontrolled, unbridled immigration to their country, they're now trying to figure out how to get people to leave, and they're willing to pay people to do this.
Isn't it like reverse blackmail?
Well, it's not reverse blackmail, but I think it sets a very interesting precedent because now all of a sudden, people are going to be going, well, if Germany's willing to pay me to leave, who else is willing to do it, right? So Now, of course, I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas here, but if you can start getting countries to pay you to leave, you just keep migrating from one country to the next every year, keep getting paid. You can make a living out of this thing, being a professional refugee. I'm not sure how you get a certification for this, but but at some point somebody's going to figure out a way to make a thing out of this, and then somebody's going to make an app out of it on top of that. How to be a professional refugee.
There you go, a refugee app.
Yeah, it's future app. Which country pays the most for refugee exits, and you can just kind of move yourself around.
Sure.
I jest. I'm not serious.
You could
here.
integrate it with a map, Google map.
It could be.
Here's
It could
the
be.
best route.
It could actually get there.
Oh, yeah.
Look, nothing is out in this world today. I don't rule anything out. I've seen enough crazy stuff in my life. Look, we got a lot of stories to get into this morning. Let's talk a little bit about the markets. Futures are pointing lower this morning. The Dow implied opens down about 110 points. Importantly, if you're watching our live stream right now, of course, you can do that at our YouTube channel, at Lance Roberts Show, also on our Facebook page, Real Investment Advice, also at our website, realinvestmentadvice.com. Anywhere you want to find us, you'll find us. Watch our live stream. You can see this rally we've had. We've had this very, very nice rally over the course of the last couple of weeks, and we've run right up into the 50-day moving average. Lots of downward resistance in the markets right where we are here. Market has been struggling here for the last couple of days, and really kind of struggled yesterday with this level. So markets are looking to be a bit lower this morning, and we'll kind of see how this plays out. But watch, we've talked about over the last couple of days, if you have a 401k plan, if you're investing in your plan for retirement, use this as an opportunity to rebalance that risk. If you didn't like that sell-off we had in October, November, and December, which we warned about repeatedly last year that was coming, use this rally here to take some money off the table, because very likely we're going to wind up retesting these recent lows in the market sooner than later. We got a lot of stuff to get into this morning, so stick around. More of the Lance Roberts Show coming up. Be sure to get by our website, realinvestmentadvice.com, or our YouTube channel, The Lance Roberts Show. Watch the show, find all of our podcast updates and more. We have a new report out this morning at Real Investment Advice called The Economy is Slowing. All the data there for you as well. Be right back on The Lance Roberts Show. Don't go away.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet. Sign up for Lance's newsletter now at lancerobertshow.com.